Today we're going to talk about the financial market. We're going to talk about how the Jewish-inspired and largely Jewish-run system has decided to ruin us all through fiat currency. But to do that, we're going to have to use an analogy with the only thing that really matters, the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart. Imagine this. You met this hot chick. Well, you haven't really met her yet, but you've seen her on TikTok. You suspect that she might display her body on a Jewish-inspired web platform known as OnlyFans. You need to impress this person because you're a loser degenerate and you have nothing better to do with your life. On top of that, you live in New York City. Another brilliant idea. You have $10 on a debit card. You have a maxed out credit card. It's maxed out because you just bought a Nintendo Switch 2 and you have Mario Kart. Now you're going to take this TikTok babe. You're going to take her to a restaurant. You know, the kind of restaurant where they only show the descriptions of the stuff. They don't show any prices. Yeah, you know what that means, right? You're screwed big time. You shouldn't have gone there. You should have made food at home. You schmuck. Don't waste your fiat on this stuff. Now the problem is you already maxed out your credit card. You can't whip out a piece of plastic to pay for this meal because you know the babe will not be impressed. You need cold hard cash and you need it fast. You call your buddy. Hey man, give me $100. You can have my Switch 2 if I can't pay you back. That's collateral, right? I'll give you a little bit of, interest for your troubles lending it to me. Your buddy considers the offer. Wait a second. I can get a Switch 2 for only $100 because he doesn't really trust you to pay him back because you're a degenerate schmuck. He agrees. He gives you $100. And now you have $100 plus $10 in your checking account. Sweet. You have 110 smackers. But remember how much this restaurant costs? It's rumored to be $400 a plate. So you come up with a plan. You're going to go to a website. Definitely real switches.biz. Buy some more Nintendo Switches or Nintendo Swatches. So you buy the Nintendo Swatch for only $20. Now you have that $100 you got from your buddy. He has your real Nintendo Switch. Meanwhile, you have your Nintendo Swatch, only $20. So you have $80 left over. Now you just have to find someone to lend you some real cash for the Nintendo Swatch. Say you walk down to your cousin's house, see this Nintendo, and he looks at it kind of funny. I'll bet he does. He's not too bright, but even he can see that the backwards facing N on that Nintendo looks a little screwy. Fine. I'll lend you $40 for it. Sweet. You only paid $20 for it. So you give him the Swatch, it gives you $40. Now you have $120. Not bad. Not bad. You're still really short. You will not be able to impress this chick who you suspect has an OF account. You freaking loser. So you're not done. Obviously, you need more. You go back to the definitely real switches.biz website and you see the Swatch Lite. Oh, you buy the Swatch Lite. Buy it for only $5. Remember, you had $120. Am I keeping my math straight here? And you buy that for $5. You're down to 115. And then you somehow find some other schmuck. You're a schmuck who hangs around with other schmucks. We're using Jewish terms in this. Shalom. All right, so your buddy agrees to, sure, I'll take the Swatch Lite. I'll give you $20 for it. So you have $115, and then you get another $20, $135. But now you do what you do best. You go full on degenerate. This is your one chance to get with this TikTok babe. E-tool. And now you start collecting swatches like a sketchy GameStop liquidation sale. The next one you get is the Swatch Mini. Well, for $3. I mean, who cares that it looks like a Raspberry Pi taped to a calculator? No one's gonna notice. Yep. Your cousin's tapped out. You just borrowed some $20 from him, so what are you gonna do? You start looking online. Yeah, all right. And you find some overnight payday sketchy loan place that hardly requires anything. So you pledge them that little Swatch Mini, and surprise, they give you 15 bucks for it. You only paid $3 for it. So what, you're up to 147 bucks now. Hey, you know what? Just for the sake of math, let's call it 150 bucks. You're up to 150 smackers now. Just like before, you go and you acquire more Swatches, 5 Nintendo Swatches at $5 each for a grand total of 25 bucks. You had 150, you just spent 25, but you got 5 Swatches. Who can you pawn those off on? Well, you find one guy who looks like he's probably on meth and fentanyl at the bus stop. He doesn't speak coherently and he's kind of bent over and you see some cash hanging out of his pocket. But you, being the nice good Samaritan that you are, decide not to just take it, but to leave him a Swatch. You find some Discord and Reddit mods who are total tools, pawn those Swatches off on them. And finally, a local pawn shop or two. Those 5 Swatches sell for an average of 30 bucks each. Well, what do you have now? You're hovering near 300 bucks now. You need to go dig through your wife's boyfriend's back seat in his hatchback, poking all the way through that guy's car, that nice guy's car. You're able to acquire 6 bucks. Guess what Guess what 6 bucks buys you? 3 Swatch Micros for 2 bucks each. Well, Swatch Micros are basically just little Tamagotchi thingies with the Nintendo sticker on. Somehow you find 3 other total tools to take those for 30 bucks each. You're basically at 400. I mean, you're really close. And now you have a pile of fake consoles that you've collateralized. Those consoles look like something straight out of a stupid low-budget sci-fi movie. Well, being the total simp that you are, you've decided to pay for her. And for you, you go ahead and pull a bag of shredded raw carrots out of the fridge and you stick those in your pocket. You'll think of something. You're just gonna tell her that, I don't know, you're on a diet. You're getting ripped. You're getting totally buff. Shredded carrots are the key. But now, suddenly there's a problem. One of the poor tools to whom you've lended a Nintendo Swatch is looking at it. Actually, the label looks like it was printed with a 1990s HP printer. Somehow, word gets around. Probably your wife spreading the word that you're just a tool. And they all say, you know what? That's it. We want it all back. We want all our cash back because we don't trust your stupid Nintendo Switch Swatches. Fortunately, or unfortunately for your mental health, they don't start demanding this back until after your date with the TikTok chick, who, guess what, never showed. So to not look like a total schmuck, you're on TikTok and you're recording yourself and you take pictures of your $400 plate and you leave, and then you start getting messages. We want our money back. We want our currency back, because it's not money, it's currency. We all have to know the difference. The cash is gone. You just blew it all at the restaurant. TikTok chick's not responding. What would you do if she did respond? I'm a tool. That analogy is equal to Bear Stearns, the company. The company that went kablooey, the 2008 financial crisis. What Bear Stearns was doing was using what's called a mortgage-backed security. A mortgage-backed security is a bunch of mortgages in a big old bundle, people's mortgages, people's houses. And those people who are in that bundle of mortgages, some of those people weren't able to pay their mortgages. Bear Stearns tries to go around in the middle of the night, literally it's called overnight lending, the repurchase market or repo market. Bear Stearns goes around in the middle of the night and begs to borrow a whole bunch of cash to keep their operations going. Bear Stearns is an investment bank. An investment bank is not a normal bank that has, people depositing cash in it, writing checks, that sort of thing. No, an investment bank invests in the market. They do trading. They handle institutional amounts of money. Currency, right? Massive hordes of cash. And Bear Stearns had been around since the 1920s. It was founded by 3 guys. Now, they were known for taking on high-risk sorts of situations. This stuff is exposed in the movie called The Big Short, starring Christian Bale. So Bear Stearns goes around trying to use a mortgage-backed security or multiple mortgage-backed securities as collateral to borrow a bunch of cash to keep their operation going. It's overnight lending. What they do is they borrow it and they're going to pay it back the next day. That's what they swear up and down to people. However, word started getting around that these people and their mortgages were not able to pay their mortgages, started defaulting. So lending institutions to whom Bear Stearns was going said, no, we're going to need a lot more collateral than that. And in some cases they were saying, you know what, we're not going to lend you diddly squat because we don't trust you. Yeah, because your collateral's no good. Bear Stearns went bankrupt. Lehman Brothers followed. An interesting thing, sometimes people's 401ks are affected. You know, we're told to, in this world that doesn't give us much information, the things we're taught in school are a bunch of crap, really. We're taught lies, we're taught fake history. It's fake. As a direct result, you know, let's say if you had a 401k and the company your work used to invest had investments that were involved in some of the things that Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers was managing. When those go bankrupt, you lose. This overnight lending system keeps the whole financial system running. I was listening to one analyst who said, you know, when the system's a little stressed out, the Federal Reserve might pump 3 to 5 billion into it. When the system is getting pretty stressed, they might pump 10 to 12 billion into this overnight lending market, the repo market. Very recently, I don't know when it was, if it was last week, but the repo market, allegedly the Federal Reserve pumped 125 billion US dollars into the repo market to help institutions with their liquidity, cash for their operations to keep running. How much did they pump in again? 125 billion? That's a huge deal. I hope you're not blindly trusting whatever so-called investments in the system. So we have to understand how these dirty dirtbags operate. Keep on moving.